It is storytelling time. Storytelling time. Tell somebody it is story time. It is story time. It is story time. It is storytelling time. Now it is okay if you clap your hands now. It is okay if you stomp your feet now. Oh yeah. It is story time. 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 It is storytelling time. Hello out there in the storytelling world. This is your Wren's Nest House storytelling rambler, Gwendolyn J. Napier. And today I would like to share a story with you that's entitled To Be a Drum. And this story was written by Evelyn Coleman. Now let me ease these down on the floor, okay? And let me just pick up my hand drum here, because the story is entitled To Be a Drum, and this is a hand drum. And I think most of you know what a drum is. So come travel with me. It was a misty, dewy day in the fields with Matt, Martha, and Daddy West as they sat in the fields with their legs crisscross. Now, it was hard to see them, but they were there. Daddy West thought that it was an ideal time to tell Matt and Martha a real soft and heartfelt story. A story that will possibly tap deep into their hearts. And Daddy West started to tell the story with a very soft voice. A long time ago, before seconds, minutes, or hours, on the continent of Africa, breath breathed for the first time into the first people. And when the earth and the wind took time to blow into the lungs of the first people, they came alive. And the wind blew throughout their bodies, and even the wind pushed through their fingers. And this is how the drum was born. They start playing the drum to connect to the earth rhythms and to connect with the animals all around the continent of Africa. And they were celebrating among themselves, having a glorious time. And then something happened. Cruel men, came from another place on the planet. And they were on a huge ship. The belly was very huge. And they took time to swing us. They slung us, shoved us into the belly of the ship. And they made us become enslaved people. They took away our languages. They took away our families. And they separated us. And they even took away our drums so we could no longer communicate with each other. But even cruelty could not take away the rhythm and the beating of our drums. As they placed us into the fields and on the plantations, our feet became our drums. And as we began to do our quilts with our hands and other things that we use with our hands became our drums. And as we talked to each other, our mouths became our drums. We became living drums. And as we fought the wars, the civil rights wars, our courage became our drums. And as we did our artwork and we danced and we were singing, our art became our drums. And as we told our stories, our history became our drums. And as we did recordings, everything that we did, because we were living vessels, we became human drums. As Daddy West stretched his arms out wide, and he asked Matt, and he asked Martha, stretch your arms out wide and put your ear down to the ground. Well, Martha put her ear down to the ground, and Daddy West had his hands stretched out wide and his ears were down to the ground. He asked, do you hear the drums? I hear the drum, Daddy West said, but do you hear the drum, Martha? Do you hear the drum, Matt? Martha said, Daddy West, I can hear the drum. But Matt said, I don't hear anything. Daddy West said, Matt, you got to be still. Lie down very closely to the ground and put your ear right down there on the ground and listen very closely and be still. As Matt began to be still, Matt said, I can hear the drum. Martha said, I can hear the drum. And Daddy West said, Martha and Matt, tell me, what does it sound like? And they said, boom, 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 boom. And Daddy West said, yes, that's the way that the drum sounds. That is your heartbeat. You can hear your heartbeat. And if you can hear your heartbeat, no one can ever take your drums away from you, no matter where you go and no matter what you do. As Daddy West got up off the ground and he connected with the hands of Matt and Martha, they joined their hands together as they walked away from the fields, connecting together with their heartbeats going boom, 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 boom. They were living drums. You can also be a drum. Now you know the story by Evelyn Coleman, To Be a Drum, and all of you can be a drum too. Until next time, I'll be here sharing more stories with you around the Wren's Nest House Museum. Until next time, this is Miss Love Drop, your storyteller. Bye now.